Hello, my most amazing art students. Today we're going to be discussing another sculpture. Last week we discussed the Discobolus, which was a classic Greek sculpture. And today we're going to be talking about this sculpture. What do you see here? Does this look similar to last week's sculpture or different? Or are there similarities and differences? Things to think about. I will pull over the image of the Discobolus so that we can compare them next to one another. Well, don't fit very much. But a couple of things that I'd like you to notice is the difference in the quality of the sculpture. The way that the artist represented the musculature in this sculpture compared to this one. This is in marble and this is in bronze. So this was cast in bronze. It's not solid bronze, it's cast. But even the hair on the thinker's head is just kind of more helmet-like, whereas in the Discobolus we have the ringlets, showing every little detail in his hair. So interesting to note that obviously different styles of sculpture that's going on. We have this contemplative, which means that the image, the sculpture is thinking, really pondering something, and which is, let's see, good, like something that would be, be sitting still, really pondering this thing. Whereas in the Discobolus, we have something caught in the act, possibly, of movement, where it doesn't look like he's going to be getting up to go anywhere very soon. This is like a moment caught in time, just like this, but this is an inactive moment and this is an active moment. So sometimes students say, well, this is a dark sculpture and this is a light sculpture. Yes, that's the material that it's made out of. So that was a choice of the artist to make, not carve this one out of stone, but to cast it in bronze. You can see this sculpture statue in the Rodin Museum in Philadelphia, if you are ever visiting there. It was created by Auguste Rodin in 1880, which was much, much later than this classic Greek sculpture, So let's focus on the thinker. Yeah, this, 450 BC for the Discobolus, and that's what 140 or 1400 years later. This sculpture was made. Sorry, not 100. 1400 years later, we have this sculpture. So in the Discobolus, we have an active pose, and in this one, we have a seated position, an inactive pose. His hand is to his chin. A lot of times I tease because a lot of times when you take school pictures, the photographer will ask you to put your hand under your chin as a contemplative thing, a cute little pose there, and it reminds me of this sculpture. What do you guys think he's thinking about in this picture? Do you think he's thinking about what he wants for lunch, possibly? Or maybe something more important, thinking about life and, what is the meaning of life? So we don't see movement in this pose like we do in the Discobolus. That's, I think, one of the most important things. And that also that this sculpture is very compact, it's not stretched out. It's very dense. There's a huge block that he's sitting on. It's not a delicate sculpture. It's very massed, like tightly massed. And because of the way that the sculptor did that, there's like a heaviness to the sculpture, a stillness that creates. If there were pieces coming off, trailing, it would make it feel lighter. But I think he purposely wanted this heaviness, to think that he's even thinking about something quite heavy, not just what he wants for lunch, something very important, that he's pondering. So, it's, I haven't ever seen this sculpture in real life, but I think it would be interesting to think about what does it look like from other angles. This is the angle we mostly see it at, from this side with the hand turned up under his chin. And, what would it look like if we went behind? We'd kind of see the hunched back of the figure, and or even from the other side, seeing the other side of his face. What does that look like? I will try to find a video, maybe to post it if there is a 3D view of this. We will go over one more sculpture next week before we do our project, which we're going to create a stabile, because there's different types of sculptures. This is a stabile, non-moving sculpture, and there are mobile sculptures that we will talk about. But there's another one that's an ancient Chinese sculpture that we'll talk about first. So I'll try to find that video to post. I hope you guys are learning a lot and about the different materials. I think it might be cool to see if I can find a simple video on bronze casting and see if you guys want to learn about how that's done. It's a very interesting process. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a great day.